Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I am joined by all of my gaggle of gal. We have
We have a full dish.
we have a
Full
full
dish of
dish. Yeah, the dish hasn't been full in quite some time, but here we are, all four of us, ready to serve up all the stunt shows and shenanigans of Days of Our Lives. Who are you? What's your what?
I did not miss that.
She's starting. She's starting.
Who are you over there and drenched in all black?
Me, I'm Michael Mattis.
Me, it's me. What's your shirt say?
Yeah,
It says Bosco's.
oh,
It is a now RIP gay bar in Columbus, Ohio. Which
Oh, all right.
I attended a drag show and partook in a drinking contest. I lost, but I won this t-shirt.
you want the T-shirt?
For
Is that a Michael
posterity.
Mattis story or is that a Michael Mattis story?
That is a very Michael Mattis story because there is not often when it comes to drinking that Michael Mattis loses.
I mean, really? I mean,
Well, in a different aspect, you do lose against the alcohol. So in that aspect, there are some losses.
peach vodka, that's all I'm going to say.
Which
2
one
words.
you
And down below, we have in all the books that he has read.
Hey guys, Justin Hareld here.
And of course, we have the ever so lovely.
Hello, everyone. I'm Araceli. Welcome back. Nice to be with all my peoples.
Yay! Although last week, Araceli was missing, but she was definitely in the chat room spying. We saw that.
I could hear you. Yes. Because I know that these boys get up to shenanigans when I'm gone.
It's almost like we
boys.
summoned her. We said Araceli 3 times, and she popped in the chat and was like, "Hello."
Y'all call me?
Someone call me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching us live, thank you. If you're watching us later, thank you. But make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, whether you're watching us live or later on. Hit that subscribe button and that bell button to be notified of when we're going live and in living color. And of course, to keep up with all our stunt shows and shenanigans here at Dishin Days, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is currently possessed and hiding out in the Demira crypt? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Yes.
mausoleum, yeah.
Chained right next to Ben Weston, or maybe rocking in a cradle next to Bo Weston. And of course, if you want to take us along with you on your journeys, whether you're on the treadmill, going for a hike or a run, or swimming in the ocean, you can take us on your favorite podcast station. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Just look up Dishin Days, find us, download us, listen to us, and tell us whether you like it and love it and want more of it. And of course, make sure you buy our merch. That's right, we have merchandise. Wait, do you still have the photo, Michael Mattis?
I did. Oh, there it is.
There we go. There's our merchandise. We have the Meliswin Possess, Dishin Days logo, and serving a full dish, all available in various items such as shirts, towels, stickers, anything that will make you scream you are a Dishin Days fan. So make sure you head over to dishindays.threadless.com and buy your merch today. All right.
Okay.
Those are our church announcements. Before we get started dishing, what did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
I feel like it was bookended by some pretty good, pretty exciting episodes, and then everything in the middle was kind of, I don't want to say filler, but info.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still a solid week, but some episode. I think Thursday's episode was where I kind of was like, all right, this week's dragging a little bit, but then Friday kind of ramped up again. So, or if someone said in the chat room, this week was a hot mess.
It's always a hot mess. Justin, what did you think?
I agree. I thought but coming up to the end of the week, I was kind of like, oh, it's not so great this week, and then sort of the end sort of saved it for me. So it was a bit of an info week, but I think it capped off really nicely.
Araceli?
I agree. It was an info week. I wasn't bored though. I feel like this was like getting everything necessary that we needed to talk about out of the way. before we get into the end of May sweeps. You know, kind of like this is like our prep week almost.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was definitely an info week, but it also one storyline in particular definitely like propelled very quickly and branched off into a brand new storyline. So I was like, oh, look. So that's how I felt. I felt like that. I felt like,
What?
oh my god, I felt
dragging too much
all
for
the
me this morning.
all the Scooby Doo sounds and.
I feel like our lovely Dylan, who does the "It's a Gift" videos for Araceli, is definitely going to make what I just did into a gift.
Yeah. He pays attention to it.
I feel that coming along. So, all right. Well, let's break it. Before we get started, just to let you know that Lindsay Arnold will be joining us later on in our show. For those of you who are tuning in,
nominated Lindsay.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. The daytime Emmy nominated Lindsay Arnold will be joining us later on in the show. So make sure you guys stick around with that because we want to find out just what she feels about being the devil herself. Or themselves. I feel like the devil must be non-binary.
Yeah.
I think Marlena said she didn't have she didn't have pronouns.
Yeah, that's right.
Or they didn't have pronouns. Yeah, whatever.
Well, there we go. All right, you guys. It's now time for our favorite part of the show where we try to figure out if we're going to say this all in unison. It is now time to start.
Dishin Days. Okay, to me, we all said it at the same time.
To me, we did not say it at the same time.
Yeah, we did not. No.
and actually, me, Justin, and Araceli were kind of in the ballpark, and then Michael Mattis pulled in the rear, which is something he could be familiar with.
Bosco's.
We gonna set this and forget it. All right. So let's kick things off with the first storyline, which is the Lani,
Whoops,
as
my
Michael
bad.
Mattis put, TR, Paulina, Abe, Steve, Chanel, and a very interesting medic that had the internet buzzing. All right. So first of all, can I start off by saying, again, I feel like I have to Google effects of being shot in the head because the way Eli kept wanting to jump out of bed post coma, post shot in the head, I was just like, listen, Eli, you need to sit down because remember, you have been shot in the head, the head, where the brain is. Where the brain connects everything else in your body. Yet you keep it's that classic get me out of
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, goodness gracious.
You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. Though I appreciate that Julie was willing to like physically tackle him. And I do think she could do it. If she put her weight into it, I think she could
Julie?
do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think Julie could take a dude down.
Yeah.
He could barely stand.
I'm sure when we don't see Julie on screen, she's taking Krav Maga or some sort of self-defense and kicking someone's ass. Yeah.
Tai Chi alone like can make you very aware of your body and how to use it. So I have no doubt she's doing that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You gotta love the people who have been around us long enough to know our little inside jokes. Shout out to Shonda. Y'all heard about TR? Did. So like, okay, so how did you guys feel about the acceleration of this storyline? Because it literally went from Eli waking up to him identifying TR as the shooter. Then having Abe go over to profess his love for Paulina after having a discussion with Julie. not knowing he was in danger and really trying to push in, trying to go to speak with Paulina, being knocked out by TR, who then tried to hide the fact that Abe is in Paulina's apartment with a pool of blood from his head. Then going to strike Paulina, having Lani enter and shoot him. What, Michael Mattis?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
No, I meant shoot him. What? What about TR? He's what?
Oh, dead. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah. So what did you guys think? Because and then for Paulina to say, "I shot TR."
It was a lot for in the span of 2 episodes,
Yeah.
like Friday into Monday and then into Tuesday. So 3 episodes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I do appreciate the fact that they did kind of, bim bam boom it and didn't drag it out for a week of we had a week or a month of Eli not remembering, and then just I feel like this storyline has been properly paced, paced as in the pacing. So I didn't mind that they kind of, sometimes when they wrap things up or they do things too quickly, it's kind of jarring. And I'm like, well, why didn't they take their time with that? But with this, I kind of appreciated the fact that it was just boom, boom, boom. And now we're into a new phase of this storyline where Paulina has taken the fall for Lani, and Lani kind of grappling with what she did, because she did kind of act, we can all agree that TR deserved what he got.
Yeah.
I feel that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
But now we're, you can tell Lani's trying to grapple with what she did. She did kind of, I don't want to say maybe she feels like she jumped the gun by shooting him, but I felt it was perfectly justified, because he was about to beat down Paulina, even though Paulina was like, bring it,
Yeah.
The face she made when TR went like this.
Yeah.
And she was like,
she's like, what you trying to do?
Oh, you think we're going to do this again?
Yeah.
It was like, I know you not. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a question of, there's no question that TR got what was coming to him, but speaking as someone who was trying not to be entrapped, I pose my question to my fellow panelists: was Lani justified?
Legally, no.
I mean,
not legally, no.
It wasn't self-defense because he wasn't coming at her, but it was in defense of it. The connection could be made that Abe, what was done to Abe was done by TR. He was in the motion of attacking. So it could be, I mean, it would be up to, I'm sure there's going to be something, happening with it. Someone needs to decide whether it was justified or not, whether it's up to us or not. I do feel it was somewhat justified, especially after knowing that, I mean, he did, because didn't TR kill the drug dealer? Didn't he give him that lethal dose? So he's a murderer. He did kill somebody.
Yeah, well, morally, I think we are on the same page. Legally,
he had it coming.
So this is, okay. So
I'll sing that song all day long for you.
Okay, so this is how I see it, right? So I felt like when Lani walked in, she saw TR in this motion, right? And I think if she would have shot then, it would have been a little more justified.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was hands down, turned around and was like, Lani, let me explain. And she was like, you son of a bitch. Bam! And so now he was shot in the front, but fell back, right?
Yeah.
Now, watching a lot of crime shows and Law and Order and things like that, the way that the bullet, went in, it would have kind of proven that she was not justified in shooting him. I think if he was turned around in this position, and she said something like freeze, and he was still, and he did a jolt or something, and bam, and then he fell forward or back or whatever, it would have been a little more justified. So I think, I think Paulina's, because I I feel like we all did an eye roll when Paulina was like, I shot him. We were all like, ugh, so this is where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I think she probably felt like Lani had a lot more to lose than her. So she wanted to be protective of her. But I'm also like, could we have just left him like this and then shot? And then she would have been justified in it.
I think it's also the fact that she knows Lani is almost too honest a person. And we saw on Friday's episode that Lani is kind of questioning what happened in the moment. She herself is not really sure what happened in that split second where she pulled the trigger.
Who knows?
She thought she was justified, but now she's questioning. I'm like, it's like, wait, was I? Did I make the right choice? Was I even conscious of what I was doing, or did I just see red?
Yeah.
I feel like she knows. I feel like she knows that, like, she I know, right? I feel like she knows that she wasn't she acted more so on feeling, and that she wasn't supposed to do that as a cop. I think she knows that there was a protocol that she disobeyed, and now a man is dead, no matter whether he deserved it or not.
Yeah. My interpretation.
Go ahead. Sorry.
My interpretation was it was actually more Abe, I think, that did it. I think she thought Abe was dead, and that's what sort of got the fury in her to do it. Because I think, like you said, TR sort of like changed his stance and put his hand down, and I think it was the Abe thing that made her shoot. I really don't. I mean, she was upset about the Paulina thing, of course, and it was shocking, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what made her pull the trigger. I think it was the idea that she actually thought Abe was dead at that point. Because later on, when
it was an emotional reaction, for sure.
When he was coming to, she seemed surprised that he was actually still alive. So I think it was the idea of she walked in, saw her father dead, and saw this man about to assault her mother, and then when he sort of turned around,
and then knowing that he shot Eli.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was more. I that's how I interpret it. It was more. I'd say it was more sort of like, I don't know, 30 Eli, 30 Abe, and the rest Paulina kind of thing. Yeah.
Someone mentioned the moment where TR actually, passed away, and looking in Lani's eyes and what he was saying to her. And I was kind of, partially distracted. I was working on something else for the show while I was watching. I was multitasking. But when that moment happened, I actually stopped what I was doing and watched it. It was actually a poignant moment. And I think that's maybe part of what Lani is feeling after the fact is almost, even though she shouldn't feel, like guilt, after he, as he was dying, looked her in the eyes and told her, he loved her for whatever reason. Maybe that's also what she's grappling with, was that moment.
I'm not sure about that necessarily, because the look in her eyes in that moment, she looked kind of dead inside when he said that. She didn't seem all too affected by that. It almost felt like she wanted to say, I don't need your forgiveness.
I'm saying in the moment, maybe she wasn't, but maybe after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What did he say?
But also, like,
final moments?
Say again?
He said he forgave her. He forgave her, and that he loved her, I think. Like, I love you.
He loved her, and he forgave her, and then he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, like, Paulina covering up, and she didn't think about this, but the fact that it was a police issued gun, like, that's a tell right there. Like, this cannot go that far. Like, this cover up, her taking the fall cannot go
of course
that far.
But I really think she's not just in protective mom mode. I think there's a part of Paulina that kind of felt like this was always going to happen if TR ever entered Lani's life.
Yeah.
Because think about, this is the whole reason that Paulina kept Lani at a distance and, lied to her entire life, was because had she stayed with him, we hear the horror stories about, children growing up in abusive homes and having to, not only witness, but sometimes get involved, and, and I think in Paulina's mind, somewhere there, she thought this might always happen.
Yeah.
If he ever entered the picture.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they didn't, I get the gut reaction of Paulina saying, I did it, but I kind of thought maybe I thought maybe the smarter thing to do would be to come up with a story, or to say like Lani shot him, but he was like strangling me, or like he was just about to hit me, or like I felt like that would have made more sense than her just randomly being like, I shot him. And then like I did appreciate the fact that she did put her fingerprints all over the gun, which I thought was okay. Well, that's a bit of a nice touch, but
it's still a police issued weapon.
I know that's the part that they can't,
as we saw, Steve saw through it 2 seconds into the story. It was like, what? Like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
We did get a nice scene, and I was trying to remember when the last time they had a scene together. Maybe it was recently, and I'm just not remembering. The scene with Chanel at the very end of the week at the police station, and the sisterly bonding. I thought was touching.
I mean, God, those girls have been through the ringer.
Yeah. I mean that they all have at this point. It's, with the discovery of Paulina not being the aunt and actually being the mother, and now gaining a sister, and then an abusive father. Like, that's a lot.
Can I ask you guys I agree with you, Tony, that this whole storyline has been rushed. I'm not sure why. Now that I'm seeing Paulina take the blame, was this all sort of a way for them to get Paulina and Lani together now? Do you know what I mean? Is this like the final thing that'll push them into like mother and daughter, real mother and daughter relationship? Do you know what I mean? Like, why was this so rushed? Were the actors not available? Like, this seems pretty fast for a day's storyline that they could have milked for a while.
I think the pivot of TR was definitely like rushed, like what I was saying like a couple of weeks ago was like, yes, he said he has changed, but he really hadn't. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom. Now we see that he hasn't changed. He's still on drugs. He shot, Eli. He killed the drug dealer. He has abused Beth. Like, I feel like that all of a sudden was just like rushed. And so I don't know if it was rushed just so maybe they could wrap up the guy who played TR, because they only had him for a certain amount of time, and then they had to kind of reintroduce some order, sort of something with the storyline.
What would have been the point of like, how long would you guys have preferred it to like go on?
Oh, I was done. I was done. And I think there is something to the fact that outside forces might have probably played a big part in the sudden pivot. But more so than that, like, we have villains all the time on Days, and there are villains that we love to hate, and then there are villains that we just are like, no. I want this person off my screen.
Like another one we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but we'll stay on TR right now.
I think what I would have liked to have seen, I actually would have liked for him to have changed and had been a better person, and realized, like, he did do the work, and he is trying to do better, and maybe a triangle between Paulina, Abe, and TR, with Lani kind of being in the middle, because now she has this love and admiration for Abe, but there's also now TR, who's the father. Yeah. But then like something happens that does allow the skeletons in TR's closet to kind of start creeping out, maybe a little more over time. And so then that could have been the progression of that storyline. But I personally would have liked to have kept TR on the canvas, just because I did find the character interesting, not in the abusive, interesting way, but in the I thought he came back different sort of way.
Yeah.
Well, there was potential.
And the actor was good. The actor, the actor was good. He had a strong presence, and he had, he was very charismatic with everybody.
Just at the end, it got too smarmy for me. Way too, just like any kind of possessive talk like that is an immediate turn off.
But
like,
also,
I don't want you on the screen, I don't want you nothing.
Just also his whole like Hollywood producer presence, I felt like finally there was something else other than Johnny being like, I'm a filmmaker and I'm doing this film. It would have added to that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there was potential, but then the attitude shifted, and
yeah, and then it would have been great to have Beth still on too, a part of that.
I was just going to say that. I was like, I hope she's still hanging around somewhere. We didn't see her this week.
Beth said, I gotta go.
She didn't actually get on that train or bus or plane or wherever she was going.
Let me tell you,
Beth if she was smart, she'd be like, I'm out of this town. There's devils and shit going on. I'm out.
She said, I'm very Gladys Knight. I got to go. I got to go.
He's like, I'll try another Salem. Maybe not this, but not
Salem, Mass. Yeah.
Salem, Mass, or Salem somewhere else where there's no devils and seances going on in the cemetery.
Exactly.
I don't know. But I don't know. I hope she stays. I hope she's around somewhere. I hope she pops up again.
Yeah. Before we hightail it out, this storyline, can we talk about the medic?
There's got to be a reason. There has to be that. There's got to be the fact that
was it Matthew Ashford?
No, it wasn't him.
It was not Matthew Ashford. It looked exactly like Matthew Ashford with a fake mustache on. Yeah. But I'm thinking there's a point to that.
Yeah,
there has to be a point to
some
that.
Sort of guest
they can't let that go. That has to be. That has to be like somebody, and the fact that they put not really a focus on it, but the fact that they had him on screen, like there's got to be something there. We don't know yet, but that's somebody doing something or up to something that we just don't know yet.
I couldn't tell if that was an inside joke. I think someone put up this screen. It looks like Matthew Ash, but it's actually not him. But so I didn't know if it was like an inside joke or like, sometimes they'll have famous, quote unquote, famous, semi-famous people on and they'll put them just in a throwaway character. But they definitely focused on him. So I was like, oh, is this another actor from a different show? Is this someone famous? Is this, I didn't know if it was an inside thing or if it was a character thing we were supposed to be, but we were supposed to be paying attention to it. They definitely highlighted him. So I don't know if it was a joke or if it means something.
But see, here's the thing, because I'm going to take you guys back. I don't remember the exact storyline. I do just remember Sammy running through Horton Town Square.
Yes.
And there was the one background extra who was like, had headphones on and was just... And no one understood why this woman was like throwing down in Horton Town Square. But like they left it in. Like literally Sammy's like, and they cut to this woman who's just like,
it was for the cop that was blackmailing Will, and her and EJ were after. And I don't know if I don't know if that was just like a tongue-in-cheek moment. I don't know, but it was so bizarre. The whole thing, it was so bizarre.
The background actress went rogue, and they didn't have time to shoot it again. So they were like,
maybe they were probably like, it's funny, we'll leave it in.
And then she was never asked back again.
I know,
right? Yeah. That was the last time, and she said, "You know what? If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out and blaze a glory.
You're gonna notice me. You're gonna notice me." And years later, we're talking about her.
So. Yes, and we're gonna. So she definitely made an impact. I was trying to find the photo of the medic. But I can't seem to. I thought someone tweeted
on Twitter has it.
I thought someone tweeted it to us, but they did not. So I'm not sure. But anyway, who knows? Maybe that was just someone being like funny and was just like, let's just see. Let's just. Put it in
we could come up with all kinds of theories, and that could be a fun drinking game where we just come up with theory after theory, and it gets sillier and sillier. I'm going with Shonda. I really think it was somebody lost a bet.
Yeah.
Someone lost a bet.
Oh boy. All right. So let's move out of that storyline and into our next one, which is someone else who has overstayed their welcome in Salem. Al Devil, Baby Bo, Sierra, Ben, Evan, Charlie, Johnny, Susan, Marlena, and Trip. All right. The devil has Baby Bo.
And I was right.
What?
I was right. Remember how a couple weeks ago we were kind of theorizing, like, how the devil hadn't made his plans known yet. All he talked about the baby. Never said why he wanted the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like somehow I knew that he wanted the baby to be his like second
vessel, lifelong vessel. Yeah.
I don't know if that was just an assumption I made in my mind, or if that was actually expressed somewhere. I think it was
probably like the safest assumption.
Yeah, because that was the first time the devil ever said it out loud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because for the longest time, I think we were like, "Why you want this baby?" I think we could have figured it out, but it was really like, "What's the point? Like, what's happening?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what they doing in hell, but the first time Charlie returned, he was a zombie.
A little rough. Yeah.
A little rough. And then now he's like regular Charlie, who apparently has enough time in hell to work out. So
it's also down there.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Manning for his return. We love seeing Charlie back on the canvas. But Charlie back on the canvas as the servant of Satan.
Okay. But okay, I will play, no pun intended, devil's advocate here. Devil's advocate here. This is how you properly use a character that you just hate so much that you really can't stand to see their faces anymore, but you find a way to consistently bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the creativity that I am loving.
Yeah.
That, we love Mike Manning to pieces, but it was time for his character to die when he did. But we still love the way when he gets brought back, because he gets brought back in creative ways like this, where it's like, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see him, because when they were at the grave, I was like, oh, they're doing this sort of transference thing, and then she sort of came upon the grave. Also think now too, the fact that the devil sort of explained that Charlie is now supposed to raise the baby, so that I guess that explains his appearance versus before, where it was like the devil raised him just to kind of terrorize. And
I got from that Charlie's not taking the baby back to hell with him.
No,
Charlie is supposed to be back living amongst the living with the baby.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, and that Charlie would raise the baby, because the devil still needs someone to sort of raise the baby.
This would be fun logistical challenges.
Well, because apparently Evan Christian was still in a kerfuffle with, being the actual servant, because he was just like, "You're Satan, you're the devil." Like, and how do we feel about like I love Brock Kelly. Like I've always loved the character of Evan Christian. I mean, that's also a made up name that we made up, but I've always felt like they could have done so much more with him. Do you guys feel like there was a need to bring back Evan Christian, or is this just kind of like, what are we doing here? Yeah,
it fit because of the history. Like he's
the hatred towards
them
Ben
before, and so it made sense that the devil chose him as the help, basically, in that part of the situation.
It's almost kind of like they teed up the beginnings of like a decades-long grudge, like how with his dad had a decades-long grudge against John and Marlena, and now we're kind of seeing the beginnings of maybe a decades-long grudge between Evan Christian and Ben and Ciara.
It's like a new generation kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Also think too, logistically, I feel like this is where we talked about the soap is so far ahead, like 6 months, where they sort of do the course correction, where they have a storyline planned out, and then it's like, oh wait, we have this sort of great dynamic actor that we love and everyone else loves, but this is the arc we have for them. And so I feel like this is their way of trying to, not just throw the actor a bone, but to also bring the character back and be like, oh, we probably shouldn't have got rid of him or painted him in such this way, 6 months down the line. So they're finding ways to sort of bring him back that fit in with the story. I'm with you. So I think the character could have been explored in a much, much different way. I like just seeing him, and I like Brock, and I think he plays the character great.
Yeah.
So it's
but
always
I mean, how the framing of this vendetta does kind of give us that open door.
Yeah.
Where it's like we didn't think that we were going to see Orpheus again, and then they find a way to bring him back decades later, and he's consistently on the canvas now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is all a very interesting storyline, especially, with the ceremony that's about to happen from the transfer of Allie's body to the devil to little Bo Weston, to Johnny, trying to go and have Allie fight. Which, by the way, the devil's eye rolls sent me.
Yes.
Like as soon as Johnny got there, the devil was like,
Ugh.
He's like, God damn.
like you. To the and before even Johnny got there, the whole I'm gonna call it a seance between Susan, Johnny, and Marlena, and resurrecting, or I don't know, the spirit of Allie, and she was just like, I'm here. I was like, could you have done rainbows and unicorns or something rather than shutting off the lights? So I don't know, this storyline. I think most of the fans are very excited that it's kind of coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I had reached a point where I was like, all right, what's happening, what's going on. But I still find it very interesting.
Me too. I see all of the naysaying online about this storyline has to end. It's dragged on forever. But if they had had the same person possessed consistently, if Marlena had been possessed this whole time, the fact that they bounced around was, I feel, and I've said this before, was a great way to bring the storyline back, and give it a fresh run, if you want to call it that. And I do feel everybody that's been involved has really, it gave a lot of people time to shine. Even I keep bringing this back, when they raised the dead, everybody Camila and Lucas and Lindsay and everyone that had to deal the three zombies, but then everyone that had to deal with the zombies. And now we got, Carson was roped into it, and he was the devil for a few months, then roped into Lindsay. They're keeping it in the family. It's I think they mentioned there was a line this week, the sins of the matriarch are cast on the whatever, don't remember exactly. The progeny, So but yeah, I think that's the reason it's kept me interested, is because it's taken these turns. We had Belle possessed for a hot second. So it was just a fresh way of telling this story from 25 years ago. So I was on board, and I am it is time for it to wrap up, though. It's kept me interested, but it is time to wrap it up.
I can't remember where I said this, if I said this to y'all in a text or if I tweeted this out, but someone mentioned the proper way for this to end will be another exorcism from Pastor Eric. Nope. I want
John,
Chanel and the devil to go toe to toe, and I want Chanel to whoop the devil's ass.
I said that.
You said that?
You both said it.
I've been saying
You both said it.
I'm saying that, and you and I texted about it this week. Remember?
Oh, then that's what it is. Because I remember talking about
you said it on last week's show too, Tony.
Oh,
you both have said it. Yeah.
Oh, because I wasn't here last week.
You both have not been here at the same time, and you both have said it different times. Yes.
That means Michael Madison and I have been doing this show too long. But I want
of everyone the devil has messed with, she's effed with Chanel the most in the worst way. So if I wish Chanel, but it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. So
no, I wanna just classic okay, you know what, devil, I'm getting about tired of you. You know what I'm saying? And just pam, 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 and then and then the devil's and then forever say that's
we
right.
said that consistently. It needs to be someone who hasn't been here. And I don't care how priestly Eric is. He's not been here.
No.
He has not been here. He has not seen the signs. He doesn't know anything that's going on. He wasn't even a part of this week. We didn't even see him a part of the search for Ciara or the baby or no. We have this can and should end, and it can and it should end in a very different way than it did 25 years ago.
True. Yep. I agree.
I think it will.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Can
just
we
have to
briefly
see.
pivot to a really important conversation that I thought was given a lot of time on Friday, and then I was like, man, this conversation needed to happen. The conversation between Steve, Kayla, and Trip.
When Trip just kind of let it all out, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see the point of it at first, and then I kind of realized that because I think we've been so focused on Chanel, and because she was messed with by both twins, well, the devil as both twins, that it kind of felt like Trip was not giving himself permission to feel his feelings. Not just hateful feelings, but his feelings of love.
Yeah.
And it kind of like goes to that old default of, well, I can't love her, I shouldn't love her, so it'll be easier to hate her.
Yeah.
Because then if you love someone, then you worry about them. If you worry about them and there's nothing you can do, then it just hurts more.
Y'all can't keep, I'm sorry, side note, y'all can't keep saying Chanel is not important enough. Chanel is important.
She absolutely is.
Chanel is important. Like
No.
Chanel
That is not what I said at all.
No, not you. Not you. I'm talking about the chat room.
Oh,
the chat
come
room
on,
is saying that the chat room is implying that Chanel's not an important enough character to oust the devil, and that is BS.
Yeah,
she's been a part of the storyline from way back. So yeah, she's absolutely.
Let's be clear. Most of the messing with, other than Marlena, look, the fall was all about the trauma that like was inflicted on Doug and Marlena. But for the last 6 months, almost all the trauma has been on those core 4 characters. On Johnny, Chanel, Trip, and Allie. That core 4 that started out so strong that we could see last fall, we were like, they had scenes together, they had scenes apart, and we were so engrossed with those characters and those actors that we were like, we're not on anybody's side. And even now, all this time later, I'm not sure we're on anybody's side. I think we're back to that place.
No.
We're on everybody's side. We love them all.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to see how this gets wrapped up. I think everyone's anxious to wrap it up, and I just want to see like how this is going to wrap up, and then also what the after effects are going to be. Now that everyone except Belle, had some sort of dealings with like things with the devil and stuff like that. So,
well, Belle was badly affected too, but I feel like we're
wait
on that.
As far as she wasn't actually possessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's that whole mess that they'll have to deal with. But all right, so let's move on to Gwen and her mess as our rundown. Jack, Leo, and Ava. First of all, this is very interesting, and I want to ask you guys just flat out because Gwen was presented with revenge on everyone with Leo, or escape prison helped by Ava. If you were Gwen, which would you go with, Leo or Ava?
And there's no option C. It's either A or B.
I'll give a C and say neither.
I mean, okay, if I was Gwen, if we're being realistic and I was Gwen, I probably would have gone with escaping.
Yeah.
Just getting in Gwen's mind.
Ava,
yeah.
All three of y'all would have went with Ava to escape?
If there wasn't an option C, which came in the form of Jack.
Right, exactly. If that wasn't on the table.
What was Jack?
Jax was the reduced
the 5 years.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm doing A and C. I'm gonna sit in jail for 5 years, but everybody's going down while I'm in there.
Got it. Okay. From the inside.
From the inside.
And Leo can be the outside.
That was such a funny moment.
Ruth Patchett herself.
Yeah, that was such a she-devil herself. That was such a funny moment when Leo presented that, and Gwen was like, "I'll give you 3 guesses as to why that can't happen." And Leo's like, "Ooh, games. Okay, so is it da-da-da-da?" She's like, "No." Is it da-da-da-da? No. I'll give you a hint. I'm going to jail.
She literally had nothing to say though. It was like, we hate these people, so I'm gonna go after them, and we should go after them together. It was like, okay,
oh, I'm sure
like,
he has plans.
Well, he wasn't offering anything that was helpful to her. I'm saying,
Yeah.
I mean, he could exact revenge on her behalf, but
it's such a shame that they've pissed off everyone in town, because those two could lead a really great game of charades.
They could. Well, and their latest game is, I don't know what Days is doing with this whole Laura storyline, but every time, like, so Leo was like, well, did you kill her? Yeah. Like, Leo was like, did you kill her? And she was like,
yeah.
Ava. And I'm like, girl, you had all that time to say yay or nay.
We may never know.
We gotta accept that we may never. If you know, Ron and the writing team, you know, wants to appease us, they'll give us that nugget of info eventually. But, you know, may never know.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that she just said it out of
spite.
Ill will.
Yeah.
Spite. Yeah.
That's what I think too.
That's what I think.
You know, I got a little frustrated this week because, you know, I was kind of on Gwen's side a little bit for a long time, and thinking like, okay, she's turned the corner. She's with Xander now. And then when she switched, you know, the antidotes a couple weeks ago, I was like, nope, I can't. You had your chance. You've proven that, you know, you've proven who you are now, and
you are more important than anyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like now we're almost getting to, I'm like, oh God, are they trying to redeem her again? Like, we're going through this pattern with her where she does something, she says she's sorry, she, you know, whatever. She doesn't really get punished, but they forgive her. Right. And then now I'm like, is this going to happen again? You know, is that where they're, and I'm just like, they can't keep doing this over and over again with this character.
They have been for over 50 years.
I honestly didn't know if that was a goodbye to the character. I feel like they've been giving her a lot of screen time the last couple of weeks. I was like, are we witnessing a goodbye? Or by the time Thursday
came around, I'm like, this has been like what, 3 episodes of Gwen, and I'm like, are they just keeping? Is she not in a cell? Are they just keeping her in that room, which is fine? Like,
we never really see the cells.
No, well, true. Maybe that set's not up. So they just keep them in the interrogation room where people can just come and go as they please. But yeah, I'm curious where they're trying to go with this. And it looks like from what we saw that she chose Jack's deal thanks to Justin. She's taking the 5 years. She said no pretty much to Leo. She said no to Ava. So, I mean, we all love Emily. She's great. I think, you know, there could have been more to do with that character. If she had been a villain, but not like a villain that, you know, there's villains that break the law, but then there's villains that like just F with people.
Yeah. Like a Kate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kate
but not involved in business.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's the route I would have liked to see them go with Gwen, like have her, because she's good at that role, and so we'll see. You know, I hope they don't just, you know, send her off to prison and we don't see her. Or maybe this is their way of resting the character. Ron likes to do that. Characters on screen for a while, they go away for 6 months, suddenly they're back.
Well, listen, if we see scenes of her in jail, just know she's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but Emily did kill it this week. She had these really beautiful emotional scenes with Jack, with Xander, even with Ava. She seems like they came to almost an understanding.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our top storylines. Before we move on to tidbits, just want to remind you guys to make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on Twitter. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're watching it now, so make sure you subscribe. But if you're listening to us, make sure you subscribe there on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, or wherever you can find your podcast. And make sure you buy our merch. It's lovely. It's been created for fans. It's look at that. That is some
Beautiful.
artsmanship craft.
Artsmanships.
Artsmanship's craft right there. So make sure you buy your merch and support us, and then take a picture. Show us how much you like us and love us and want more of us. All right. Let's get into tidbits because we have a lot more show before we have Lindsay Arnold joining us. We are just moments away from that. So let's get on with the rest. We have our tidbits, which is Leo, Sunny, Victor, Gabby, and Jake.
These were kind of separate, but I bunched them together because I feel like they're gonna be crossing.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I really want to. I mean, I pray for the people who were on that list that Leo made to get back at. But I found it interesting that Sunny. No, don't show that yet.
Oh, not yet. Sorry.
No, Michael Mattis. That's not
okay. You show you. I won't touch it. You show it. That's not what. When you're ready. When you're ready.
That's not what that is for.
Oh, that's not what that's for.
No. Anyhow.
Okay.
Welcome to live shows. What was I going to say? Yes. So I found it interesting that that Sunny wanted to be CEO because I thought he did not want to do that.
Yeah.
I think he likes being CEO. It's the victor of it all that always gives him pause.
After what I've seen, what we've seen with Leo and Sunny and their interaction a couple weeks ago, I think Sunny found a reason to stay in Salem. Mm. And now he knows Leo is staying in Salem.
Y'all really think Sunny has a thing for Leo?
I think there's something there that he may not be even conscientious about yet. But when a couple weeks ago when Leo was talking about how bad he was in bed, the look on Sunny's face were hurt puppy dog feelings. Like he didn't really have a response. He just had that hurt look on his face, which was the first time I'm like, oh, maybe there is a twinge of something there for Leo.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be hurt because, someone's, if you feel like, you got the motion in the ocean and someone's
no one wants to hear they're bad in bed. But when it's coming from someone like Leo, like that, you can't take it seriously. He was, he could have just been saying that like we were talking about with Gwen. He could have just been saying that to get Sunny's goat, Well, but he did get Sunny's goat. So the fact that it did get to Sunny.
Sunny wouldn't have these problems had he just gone with Man Bun instead of Leo.
Oh, no. 0 to Man. No. Thumbs down to Man Bun.
Man Bun was amazing.
Unless the Man Bun got cut off.
No, the Man Bun was amazing. And wherever he is he should
go to Supercuts and get a haircut.
Anyways.
So Victor got what he wanted. Sunny is CEO. And then also Gabby has now pulled Jake back in to help out with Demara.
This makes no sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I just had to kind of go with it. I'm like, all right, now you're flip flopping, Gabby.
Well,
all right.
Again, the whole thing had Gabby just said, you went in there and told Maggie that and you cut me out of the deal, and then Jake could have said, "What are you talking about?" And then Gabby would have said, I heard you talking to Maggie just not too long ago. You was it. And you cut me out of the deal. And Jake could have said, Maggie, I didn't talk to Maggie. Like, what are you talking? Like, I was at wherever he was. And then that whole storyline would have been null and void. And we didn't have to wait until now for Jake to explain that, the devil did that.
This is just so unnecessary.
Well, this is just so that we can see I'm falling back in love again.
I have zero interest in any of the love shenanigans. No. The only part of this that might pull me in, that might have a sliver of a chance of interesting me, is the idea of CEO Sunny going up against mother of his child, CEO Gabby.
Well, that's the conflict.
Best friend Chad.
That was even and Chad.
Well,
that was even brought.
Sunny and Chad have kind of done that dance before. Gabby's company was never in direct competition with Sunny because he was always a subsidiary or somebody else. she's never been the boss against Sunny.
Mm.
So that's the only part of this that might interest me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was that tidbit, right?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, nothing really. Just the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then next we have EJ, Chad, Kate, Roman, Lucas. A lot of this is just centered around the fact that Chad and Kate are keeping the secret that they planted that evidence to make it look like EJ actually did kidnap Sammy.
Mm.
And it's kind of on shaky grounds now because, they made it look like Belle did it as the devil.
Roman's questioning it. EJ's kind of questioning it.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy and Lucas are apparently missing.
Yeah. Look. Yeah.
So
look, we all know secrets come out, and Chad is a terrible liar.
Mm-hmm.
He's a terrible liar.
Yeah.
He's gonna crack eventually. Yeah. But that was not as interesting to me as the fact that where in the world are Sammy and Lucas?
Yeah, if they're missing, like what?
How do you not in the 21st century in 2022 answer your freaking cell phone when they must have like 100 voicemails each and text messages saying, "Hey, both of your kids have been possessed. It's time to come home."
Well, Days isn't ready for them to come back home yet. So as of right now, they're
Where
somewhere
are they? On Mount Kilimanjaro?
Meliswin with bad service.
With bag service.
That way they are. They live in their life at Meliswin.
Somewhere with no service on top of some mountain, deep in some submarine somewhere.
I found it interesting that Roman's questioning of everything prompted Kate to call Lucas and say, "If I don't hear from you, I'm telling Roman everything."
He got 24 hours.
Yeah.
You got 24 hours, or I'm telling Roman.
I mean, good for her, but it just goes back to, I'm like, that's not Kate. but she's a new Kate. She's new and improved. But yeah, she's with Roman. She's turning over a new leaf. Good for her. Yeah. Love that for her.
All right. So that's that tidbit. And then we have Tony, Anna, Maggie, Sarah, Xander, Abigail. Bottom line, I'm glad that, the antidote seemed to work. Mm-hmm. But then there was something that happened that made them go, "Oh," she was like, "Where's my baby?"
Yeah. So she has her memory back, but she's not at the current.
So she's not in the time here. Then
we don't know that for sure. We don't know exactly why she thinks that. It could be that she kind of stopped it in time at some point, like she's missing time, or the whole cocktail just could have scrambled her brain to think that, just completely forget that her baby died. We have no idea what it is.
Yeah,
true.
And Anna was about to skip town. She was like, "Deuce out. I'm going. They not gonna catch me." And was willing to leave her love for that. But I'm glad that they did the antidote. Sarah came back, and Maggie went over to be like, "Hey, you know what? Dropping the charges."
We knew she was going to do, because once they knew it was really Gwen's fault. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Were we all glad that Anna took responsibility for her callousness? Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's great that she did that, but she was not technically responsible for Sarah's decline.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was, but she was very aggravated. And so she was just like, this Renee Dumont not going to come back into my life. In the grand scheme of things,
she realized she was being silly and virtuous.
And then they kind of put that character to a proper send off to that character at the end of that episode. Yeah.
They did, and they did a great, memorial for Felice Sambler, who died earlier this year. Was it this year?
Last year.
Last year at some point, late last year.
Yeah. So that was nice of them to pay tribute to her, and also have that send off in the Daenerys crypt. And
because it really was, I'm not sure that Anna really cried for Renee, but I think in the grand scheme of things, she realizes, I got to go on. I got to live this wonderful life with the man I love. And it's kind of petty and pointless to have a continued rant over a ghost.
Yeah.
Well, listen, she got triggered.
Yes.
She was like, not my man.
Yeah. But Anna, dear, I have to say, people who say, I'm going on the lam are not equipped to go on the lam.
I don't even know what going on the lamb is. I know what going on a limb is. I do that all the time. All right. And last but not least in our tidbits, we have Steve, Kayla, and Burns, which is what this storyline should have did was Burn. I was literally, y'all know I love Days. And if anyone is watching, Ron, if you're watching, any of the actors, I'm so sorry to say this, but there was no point in Kayla losing her job, Marlena keeping hers, and then in the middle of the night, Burns comes
middle of the night
talking about, hey, do you want your job back and do you want to start now? If I was Kayla, I would look at him and said, I'll be starting first thing Monday.
Yep.
I wonder if there was like an original plan to keep Craig around longer that didn't pan out, and so now they're doing this pivot back to, okay, Kayla's back as chief of staff because the chief of staff left. I wonder if there was an original plan to keep Craig around longer and it just didn't work out. Because it does seem odd that they went to all that trouble just to reverse it, but it's a soap, maybe, you know.
I mean, well, they went all that. Look, if we try to analyze why they went through the trouble of anything, we should start with. Yeah. But we don't have time for it today. We will pick up later the point of breaking up Craig and Nancy.
Oh, where are you going?
Nowhere.
Oh, I thought you were pulling a Tony Moore. You were just like, oh.
I said what I said. I'm out.
All right. And mic drop. All right. Well, we're glad that Kayla's back. I wouldn't have went to work that night, but, it is what it is. All right. And that was your week of Days of Our Lives. And now it's time for our favorite part of our show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap. All right, Michael Mattis, since you like to pull triggers early.
Hey, now.
Well, I don't know. Hey, now. So my 3 snaps goes to, sometimes when you just need to organize yourself and you need to remember who you need to get back at, you make a list. And to-do lists are amazing for organization. And I said a few weeks ago that Leo's list reminded me of Ruth's list from She-Devil. They both correlate with each other. So kudos to that. So Leo's list of who he's seeking revenge on, starting with Chad, then Abigail, then Brady, then Chloe, and Sonny. There was one more. Good thing he had that list. Leo's list gets Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap. All right. And now it's time for Caption That.
All right. This week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Susan, Johnny, and Marlena and their seance ritual, whatever you want to call it, in the DeMira Mansion. And this week's caption goes to Stephen Arendash on Twitter. Stephen _Arendash on Twitter with his caption, Susan Banks, the new host of Family Feud.
Cute. And that was
Show me Elvish. Show me the devil.
I wonder if Susan ever, off camera, tried, Elvis, if you hear me, I got a peanut butter and banana sandwich for you. Come on down and talk to me. And now it's time for It's a Gift.
Oh, we skipped.
Did we?
Someone. Didn't we?
Okay. I thought you.
Oh, is it time for?
God.
Those were the days.
I guess it doesn't matter. But
yeah. Everyone, this week I'm taking you back to May 13th, 1994, where we had the introduction of Gina in one of our favorite characters, Celeste. This was a return for Kristen Alfonso, who left the show for about 4.5 years, came back as Gina, aka not Princess Gina, which people confuse all the time. This was Gina, who was a completely separate character, and we got the introduction of Tanya Boyd as Celeste Perrault. So yeah, May 13th, 1994, introduction of Gina and Celeste, 2 brand new characters. to date.
Not Princess Gina. Then Gina who?
Gina was originally
Gina,
Princess Gina. Gina's
the princess factor didn't come in. The princess factor didn't come in until a few years later.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah,
when she discovered she was a princess. Got it. All right.
That was a lot.
And those were the days.
Oh, but you're right, Justin. There was an actual Princess Gina. It was just Hope thought she was Princess Gina. Exactly. Oh my God, what a mess of a storyline.
It was a lot.
Oh my God.
Those were the days, people. All right. It is now time for It's a Gift.
But let's talk about Gina for... No, I'm kidding. JK.
Okay, this week's It's a Gift goes to Leo Stark's stunned. And did you think that Leo could be stunned by anything? Expression at wondering if Gwen really is a murderer.
Wow. And then Gwen being like, Ava.
Look over there.
Look over there, Ava. And that was It's a Gift. All right. And those were all of our segments. And now it's time for some news and gossip.
Yes, we have some big congratulations this week. First off, we are big congratulations to Jen Lilly and her husband, Jason Wayne, on the birth of their new daughter, Jackie Grace. You can find all the exclusive pictures as well as the dramatic delivery story at people.com. Jen Lilly, of course, giving us always drama. So go check those out and listen to that story. It's very interesting.
Oh my God.
Next up, we have big congratulations to former Ariana #1, Lindsay Hartley, who just completed directing her latest film. This one's called My Partner's Wife. No info on it yet, but once we get it, we will definitely let you know when and where it will premiere. Big congratulations to Jensen Ackles. He has a few things going on. He is on the cover of Man About Town, looking amazing. He also is guest starring in the season finale of ABC's Big Sky. And last but not least, we told you a few weeks ago about the pilot, spin-off pilot of Supernatural called The Winchesters. It has now been officially picked up for the fall on the CW. He is an executive producer and also a narrator on the show. So big congratulations.
All right.
Last but not least, congratulations to friend of the show, Paul Telfer. His wife, Carmen Cusack, was nominated for a Tony Award for lead actress in a musical for her performance in Flying Over Sunset. So big congratulations to their family.
Yay!
They also just recently met Coco Peru.
Yes.
In person for the first time.
Who they have a history with.
Yeah, an online history with.
And now, in just a few minutes, we will have our guest Lindsay Arnold join us. But let's give
What are you thinking?
Let's give a sneak peek as to what is coming up next week on Days of Our Lives.
If y'all haven't seen the promo yet, this is a good one. Get ready.
Am I seeing things?
Hey there, little one.
Daddy? It really is you?
Oh my God.
Peter Recco returns to Days of Our Lives.
Not Peter Recco just popping up and saying like, hey, y'all been in heaven for a little bit.
Okay, I don't know why, but every time it makes me cry. I don't know why. Every time. I've been watching it since it dropped on Friday, and every time I get tears in my eyes. I don't know what it is. Like, I knew he was coming back for Beyond Salem, but this, I don't know what it is. I think it's the promo. Oh my God, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the start of Ciara just calling for him. Oh God. It's a lot. It's a lot, guys. I think this is gonna be a week that we need tissues. If you're this week. I really do.
You let Araceli go through her feels. Araceli, what? Let's walk through this. Let's sort this out, okay? Is it? Oh my God!
The comment.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't get emotional when Bo died. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because we knew that Peter was just kind of coming to wrap Bo up. So I didn't get emotional when Bo died for some reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is that this is just like killing me.
Okay.
I can't explain it, guys. I really can't.
No.
Like,
Is it-
like my father is alive and well. He's in the next room. So
Is
it's
it
like,
is it because like because he's been gone for so long and like now he's back and
I don't know, but I don't know if maybe it's just the way that like Ciara called out for him and she prayed for him to come, and it seems like he's coming and he's like, hey, I heard you, honey. I heard you. I don't know what. I don't know.
wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
It really just, and again, it's like how many characters have died on Days and stuff. Like we had legacy characters. I don't cry, but for some reason, I think this week is gonna kill me.
Wow.
And also, it's also coming up the last 2 episodes of This Is Us, and God dang it, I'm going for Dishin.
Oh man.
Wow. It's okay. I'm glad we are navigating this. You know what? I mean, honestly though, I'm glad that that Peter Ruckles, is back, and I'm glad that they are utilizing him.
I'm glad that they kept this under wraps. Like, besides announcing that they're bringing him back for Beyond Salem over the summer, I'm impressed. Like, because so my reaction watching that promo. So Tony sent me the promo, like when they send it to him, like NBC sends him the promo. I always watch it when I first get it because I can't help myself.
Me too.
And it was on my birthday. I was sitting at Bob's Big Boy eating my sandwich. And I was like, oh, Days promo. So I watched it and I literally out loud went, holy shit. And the waitress was like, you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And then I immediately texted you guys. That's when I texted you guys. I'm like, you guys are gonna shit yourselves when you see the promo. It's good.
Yeah, I really hope my aunt
this
isn't
is like
watching my show.
Like a big.
This is big. If you don't like spoilers, we're sorry that you watched that. I literally told my aunt,
out.
Don't
like
watch,
it was released Friday.
On socials, don't watch my show because she hates spoilers. I told her, don't come over here then because you're gonna be spoiled big time.
I think it was more the finality of just when Peter left, he was sort of like, I'm done. I gave everything I could to Bo in the show, and it was a great run, but I'm out. And like we've said before, things change with people. Like people retire, people leave the show for various reasons, and it's like it isn't always a goodbye. We said like not regimes change, but producers change, networks change. Like people are at different stages in their lives, so they're able to come back.
When the time in the storyline is right, it'll happen. It can happen.
Is this the official Days of Our Lives YouTube channel that's in here?
Or is it someone acting as Days of Our Lives?
I can't with people. I cannot with people at all. I cannot with this. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I can with. We now have
who we know is real.
Yes, we now have our very special guest joining us. Recently announced Daytime Emmy nominee and friend of the show. She is amazing. She is talented. She is lovely. She is Lindsay Arnold. Hey.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. How have you guys been? I feel like it's been such a minute.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long and like so much has happened, but you're still killing it as Allie, and now Al Devil, as we have named her.
I love it.
But before we get into that, we want to definitely congratulate you, and well-deserved, for being announced as a Daytime Emmy nominee for Outstanding Younger Performer in a Drama Series. How did that feel to like receive that nomination?
I mean, obviously I was really excited. I'm super excited because they're in person this year. So I'm like, that adds like a new layer of fun. I feel like I haven't gotten to do any of the typical in-person Days things. So I'm excited because this will kind of be like my first one. But honestly, I did feel a sense of relief this year getting it, because I feel like my storyline last year, I was like, I feel like I was putting truly my blood, sweat, and tears into it. So I was really, I definitely was kind of expecting it more this year, or hoping for it more this year. So when I got the call, I was kind of like, okay, Good. Now we can be excited about it. But yeah, so it was definitely a mix of like a little bit of relief and a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, Lindsay, what did you submit for your Emmy reel?
So I submitted the scenes where Allie remembers what happened to her under hypnosis with Marlena.
Okay.
So I would say that was like the main chunk. That was like the first like 5 minutes of my reel was just kind of the like second half of that episode where I remember everything. And then I put in a scene with Brian DeTillo where he tells me that Charlie is like out on bail, like out free, and I'm kind of like, what do you mean? And then I put in a scene with me and Lucas when Charlie like had came back as the zombie, and then the scene where I tell Lucas I love him for the first time, I put that. So yeah, so I would say like the main chunk of it though was those scenes with Marlena.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
I'm so glad to hear that someone used those zombie scenes. I felt like those scenes, like everybody, the zombies themselves, like the three guys that came back, but then everybody reacting and the physicality of those scenes. I remember watching it and I was like, okay, everybody in this episode has their Emmy reel right here. It was really great stuff. Yeah,
those scenes were so good. And I just remember it was like a very, it was like an exhausting day on set. I mean, I wasn't even the one fighting. Like Lucas and Mike were literally like sweating. Like they were really fighting in those scenes. But it was just, it was a very exhausting day overall because it was just a lot of just us being so amped up and like having to stay in the moment. And, you know, it just took a little bit longer because there were so many like stunts and stuff. So yeah, but I loved the scenes afterwards with Lucas, so I definitely wanted to try and include one of those, and I had time, so
we reported like when the Emmys came out that Raven and Victoria had a lovely surprise for you to celebrate. Little just nominated, little celebration. Tell us about this. Like, how did they surprise you with it? Like, how was that for you? Like, what happened?
It was so cute. I literally started crying. I think Victoria had a video of me crying, but she accidentally deleted it somehow. But yeah, so Raven had called me. Raven was like the first person to call me after I heard, and she must have seen it like get announced, and she called me and she was like, congrats. Like, obviously, where are we going? We need some champagne. Like, we need to go celebrate. So originally I thought like me and Raven were just going to go grab drinks later on in the day. And then she was like running, like we were supposed to like get drinks around like 4, and it was like 4:30, 4:45. And I kind of was like, okay, what's going on? So like I was literally about to text her, and she texted me and she's like, hey, just got here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I like came outside, and then I came outside and Raven, V, and our other friend Mariah were all outside in like one of their like friends' cars. It was like a convertible car, and they had like the balloons, which I literally like. They got me this big unicorn balloon, and literally as I was sitting down, it like must have broken from its like string, and there was like a unicorn balloon like flying behind me, and I was like, okay, it's like on the other side of my apartment right now, like floating. I'm like, just go. So yeah, I came outside, and they basically like had just set it all up right outside. And then Raven texted me, and like luckily like my apartment, like I can see right out to the street. So luckily I wasn't near my window, or I would have like seen them kind of setting it up. Aww. But yeah, they totally surprised me, and we were being so extra. We like shut down my street to take a whole photo. Asked like this poor woman was like walking with her baby, like her literal baby in a stroller. And Raven was like, hey queen, do you mind if we just have you take a photo real quick? Like literally this woman like left her baby to come take our photo. So sorry. And then we were like, our eyes were like closing half of them, and we were like, she needs to get back to her baby. Like it was okay. So like, but it was cute. Like my neighbors were like all like, oh, it's okay, we'll like go the other way. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna be like, who is this girl taking a photo shoot in the middle of the street? And we were like popping the champagne in the middle of the street. It was really, really cute though. And they just like totally went above and beyond. And then Lucas ended up meeting us out later. So it was just a really fun, like super fun celebratory night.
Oh, speaking of it, it's great seeing all of you guys, all these together. We highlight a lot of times when you go out and you post. What do you attribute to like the friendship of like with you, Victoria and Raven and Camilla? And
I mean, I think we just like honestly got so lucky. It's really like, I mean, I've met all of my closest friends out here through Days, and we just genuinely all like really get along. And I'm like, I just feel like it's just luck. But I mean, it helps. We're all kind of similar in the sense that like we're always down to go out and do something. Like we started a book club together because like I'm really into reading, and I was talking and some of the girls were like, we want to get back into reading. And so we were like, let's just start a book club and like start getting that together. So it's just kind of like everyone's always down to try something new or do something. And I feel like that's kind of like a great thing about our group is like, even the other day, like me and Raven had off for a few days and I was like, should we go to like Tulum or something? And like the two of us were fully like looking at hotels. Like we're just always down to like do something fun. Which I think like is always good because it just kind of keeps everyone like always seeing each other. Like we all try and hang out. I would say like I feel like we all see each other like every couple weeks.
Yeah.
Have you been on a project before where your co-cast members are so close like that, or is this just something that happened with Days?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like a thing with Days. I think because our schedule is like we shoot for so many days and like we, everyone's obviously been on it for a long time, but I'm seeing these people like all day at work and we have so much time in between scenes because we shoot so quick. So like even if we need to be in early, we're like, okay, well our scenes are like not until the end of the day or whatever. So we'll just go and hang out and like talk or like go get lunch and stuff together. So I don't know. I mean, this is my first project that I've been on where I'm like a series regular. So I'm there every day. So I think like that also has something to do with it. But I think it's like very familial. Like I don't think a lot of shows are as family-like as Days is. And even like the producers and stuff, like when I got nominated, like they were so sweet and like sent me texts like we couldn't be prouder of you. Like it's just very like it's like it really does feel like family. And so I think that is specific to Days. I mean, at least in my opinion. And I've talked to other people on the show, and I think it's a pretty like we all kind of agree on that.
Well, speaking of the friendships, we heard from when Lucas and Carson did our live show a few months ago. Carson told a story about Raven being a little bit of a jokester. And I'm curious whether the ladies also get that treatment or if that's something that she saves for the dudes.
Raven loves, it's really specifically poor Carson. We just love him. But Carson is like, I actually, we talk about it all the time, but like we really have like a sibling dynamic like in real life. And he just reminds me so much of like my actual brother. I mean, my actual brother's 13, so like it doesn't actually remind me of my It's a very similar, like I care so much about Carson and just like I'm just like my sweet little Carson. I'm just like love him. But Raven and Raven as well kind of has the sibling, but they have more of the like teasing. Like she loves teasing him. But Raven will be funny because she'll be like, especially with Carson, like she'll be like, oh my God, like why would you push me? Like that really hurt. And she'll go like full out for it. And Carson will be like, oh my God, stop. Like people are gonna really think I was pushing you. So she'll definitely like joke with the girls as well, but she definitely, I think specifically Carson gets the brunt of the teasing. But he takes it like a champ. He's good.
Nice.
Love that. We have a bit of fan mail, and this will happen throughout the show, Lindsay. Every now and then, we will have some questions from fans when they come flying in. We will let you know. So the first one actually comes from Instagram, and it is from Carissa Creeves on Instagram, who says, "Do you ever still get nervous before shooting a scene? And if so, what do you do to make those nerves go away?"
Okay, thank you so much for your question, Carissa Krebs. Yeah, I still do get nervous when shooting a scene. I feel like during the devil stuff, I definitely had a few scenes that I was nervous to do. I was really, really bad at like a devil laugh, like the evil laugh. I didn't realize, like, for some reason, I thought that my voice was going to be like a voiceover. I didn't realize it was just modulated, which I'm so happy it is modulated. But I thought it was like a voiceover for some reason. So they kept having me one day. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna need you to evil laugh," and I was like, "Guys, like, please, I'm begging you." And I told Deidre, I was like, "Your evil laugh, like Deidre's evil laugh, is so good. It is so good. She can just pull it out of nowhere. Like she'll literally be like, 'Oh, 1 second," and then she'll like go into an evil laugh. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Okay. So I was like, "Can you guys just like get Deidre's? Like, can you just use her?
Just use hers.
I don't know, modulate it a little bit differently?" I was like, I'm really bad at this. You guys are gonna get it. And it was so embarrassing. Like I did it. And I was working with Carson, who's like the worst in those situations. And I think it was when he was like hung up in the crypt.
Oh,
he's like hung up, and they're like, "Oh, real quick, Lindsay, can you just do like an evil laugh?" And I literally did it, and it was Carson starts dying laughing while I'm still evil laughing, and so they're like, "Okay, we can't use that. Like, Carson, if you need to look away, then please look away because we need you to like not laugh." But then obviously I was like, okay, he laughed at my evil laugh, which is supposed to be scary. So I mean, they don't like, they'll just eventually go away. Like I recently shot a scene that I can't talk about, but it was very nerve-wracking and very like something I had never done before. So for that, I mean, you just once you do the first couple of takes or you rehearse it a couple times, like it does just end up going away. But yeah, there's still scenes that before. If it's something that I've never done, especially, I'll still get a little bit nervous for them.
Well, speaking of the devil, like, you know, everyone has a ton of questions about you playing the devil, which, by the way, you're doing amazing at it. And a lot of people, like Susan Russo says, you truly look gorgeous with the devil eyes.
It's so funny because I was feeling myself with those devil eyes.
We could tell.
I took so many selfies. It's disgusting. My camera roll during that time period was literally just like I was loving them. But it was funny because a lot of people on set said the same thing. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, these are so beautiful on you."
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But then when I started seeing people tweeting that, and I was like, I guess everyone can tell that I was into my devil eyes.
Yes.
And especially when there was like there's that classic scene where like, you know, the devil like steps into light.
Yeah.
And so the light hit and then you had the eyes and I was like, ooh.
I know. No, like I remember on set people were like, it's kind of like it's not super scary. It's kind of like sexy. And I was like,
yeah, it doesn't work on everybody.
I know. I was like, all right. I mean, I'll take what I can get. I think we haven't had a super sexy devil yet, so I'll try and go that way.
Well, like this week with the red eyeshadow and like the red light coming behind you was unbelievably.
Yeah, I loved that eyeshadow. My makeup artist Natalie just killed it. She was like, she was taking a lot of pictures too. She was like, love it. I was like, send me all of these. Send me every single one.
But the favorite is the eye rolls. Those are classic. It's like you could tell, first of all, you are not having it, but as soon as that neck swivels and those eyes, it's just like it's everything.
Oh, I felt too like the writing for my devil was honestly so funny, and I was like, I was gonna really lean into the devil having like a grand old time. I figured like the devil would probably be over it, right? Like he's been here for a few months. It's not working. Like if I was him, I'd be tired of being scary too. I'd be like, let's just have fun. But there was one eye roll that like, I think it was when I was kidnapping Ciara in the car, and she was like, I didn't know if Ben was dead. Like we have a telepathic connection. It literally was like that eye roll is not even the devil. Like it was fully like me, Lindsay, being like, oh, telepathic connection. Come on now. So me and Victoria were laughing at that one a lot because she was like, we were just laughing because I was like, this eye roll is, people are gonna love this eye roll about that line.
I love.
And I got a lot of tweets being like, love it.
Yeah, it was so good. And one person, Jarkarius Naylor, who's watching us on YouTube, he wants to know what's the best part about playing Al Devil, as she has been named.
I love it. I think the best part is just how fun it was because it was so, you could just be as ridiculous as you wanted because you're not a human being. So literally I just could do whatever I wanted. I could be as mean as I wanted. I could say whatever I wanted or whatever. And I think what was fun too was I just really wanted it to be so opposite of Allie, and the writing definitely helped it lean that way. So it was just really fun. I felt like I was playing a completely new character and one that's like completely different than what I usually play. So it was like honestly the most fun I think I've had on the show because I just got to be so ridiculous and like do and say whatever I wanted and do these really fun makeup looks and like even like dress differently. You know, I was like, let's put her in something maybe like a little tighter because Allie, like I don't tend to really wear that stuff. She's a big like sweaters, jeans girl.
Yeah.
So we played around like with dresses and stuff. I just thought it was funny too, like I remember when we chose my little blue dress. And I was like, it was the day I was going to the jail. And I was like, how funny would it be if like you just showed up to the men's prison in like a little dress and we're like, hey, kind of like just chose options that were like kind of giving into that ridiculousness, like giving birth in a dress, like just kind of like playing with that like fun, playful, doesn't make any sense because it's the devil,
Yeah.
So that was like, I think the most fun was just being able to kind of explore the ridiculousness of not being a human.
Yeah, I think everyone across the board has said the same thing. When we first talked to Deidre Hall, she was saying how much fun she was having, playing the devil, and then Carson, mentioned the same thing, and so I feel like across the board, and you can tell because it resonates on screen that it's just fun. While a lot of the fans, as fans are very vocal about the storyline and everything like that.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, but it's like, it's been a very interesting storyline, and it's been interesting to see how each person has played the devil. But, overall, everyone has had fun, with the role. And there have been times where we've been like, oh, and then there are other times where we're like laughing along with the devil, like, come on, dude, like, seriously, so it's been a lot of fun watching you guys portray it.
Lindsay, did you get any interesting direction while on set, while playing the devil, of like to ham it up or to go broad here or there? Or
I think like I'm trying to remember. I think there was a few where they wanted me maybe to like be a little scarier, which I think helped because, or like a little bit less like fun, because I definitely like overall played it very playful and fun and like a little flirty. Like I was going for that kind of aspect, but I think that the times when they did direct, maybe on this line get a little scarier really helped because it like it was this like sweetness and then to immediate like, oh, remember who I am. So I would say that was one. I mean, I think that was kind of the biggest one that I can remember was just that, because they knew I was having so much fun with it. So they were kind of like having fun with it. But then if there were specific moments they wanted to maybe seem a little bit creepier or scarier, they would just tell me. And I think that really worked.
Yes.
Was there any, you talked about being nervous for specific scenes. Was there any nerves on your part when they told you that, hey, you're going to be part of this possession storyline that was one of our most popular storylines 25 years ago, and Allie's going to be one of the possessees? Were you like, oh God? Or were
I was so excited. I was fiending for those eye contacts. I really was. I was like, yes, I wanted to wear them so badly. I was so excited when I got the email that I was getting fitted for contacts. I was so excited.
They're so jarring.
What?
They're so jarring though. Like the first time you put them in.
I know. I got used to it by the end, but the first day it was so bad. I was like, I felt the poor man putting them in was like, are you okay? I was like sobbing. My makeup artist was like, everything. I have never worn contacts in my life. Like I don't wear glasses or anything. So it was really weird. And they're, you can't see in them that well. So it was definitely an adjustment.
Oh, wow.
But I was just so excited when I got heard. And when I heard. And I was like honored too. I was like, this is so cool. Like I'm so happy that I get to be a part of this, like reinvention of the storyline.
I definitely feel like it was a smart decision of who the possessees were going to be this time around, because you and Carson and I think you and Carson and Raven have been like very strong additions to the show. And unfortunately Raven was the victim.
Oh my God.
I do feel like the show made smart decisions in choosing you and Carson to be the possessees this time around, because you guys both killed it. You guys were both very entertaining and engaging to watch. Yeah.
And I think like it's the sibling in me that when he was doing it, I was like, I want to do it. Like, why did so I was like, why did Carson get to go first? Like, I want to go. So we definitely had that like thing going on where I was like waiting for my turn. But I was so excited. I was really excited to do it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, a little bit of fan mail.
Fan mail.
We need a sound effect for this.
Yeah,
we do. So that way when it comes in,
that part out yet.
Yeah. There's a lot to tinker with here on this show. But Vanessa _Avila from Instagram wanted to know, if you had said no to being the devil, do you know who would have been next in line?
I feel like, I mean, I don't know who would have been next in line. I'm wondering maybe they would have kept like Belle the devil for longer, because I know she was only it for a couple episodes, and like maybe they would have just elongated her devilness. Or I'm like, maybe they would have done I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, maybe they would have done Trip or something like that for a little
That
bit.
would have been an interesting take.
I mean, it would have been kind of cool if they had like Victoria or Rob be the devil, because it's like their baby. So I think it could have been so interesting, like a Rosemary's Baby moment, if Victoria was like the devil while she was carrying the baby. That could have been really cool, and I feel like V would have obviously killed it. So I think that could have been cool. But obviously, I'm really happy that it was me.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, Lindsay, so we've talked a lot about this, but I want to get your opinion on it. So it seems like Allie's fighting back. She's seems like she's more cognizant of where she is than Johnny was when he was possessed. Do you think, and I've kind of been of the opinion that somebody should have figured it out sooner. But do you think that this shared possession experience it brings more understanding between Johnny and Allie? Because they were kind of like, when Johnny first came on the canvas, they were kind of like for a while.
Yeah, they were at odds for a second.
Yeah. I definitely think that it does bring them together. I think, it is a traumatic experience. Obviously, it's so far-fetched that it is hard to imagine what real life actual consequences and emotions would feel after learning that you were possessed and like did all these terrible things. But like, it is like a really traumatic experience, and so I think that going through something like that obviously is going to bring you closer to other people who experienced it and can resonate with the exact feelings that you're feeling. So I think it definitely, like, it's something that Johnny and Allie can kind of connect over and hopefully bring them closer instead of being so like on it all the time.
Yeah. Seems like we're seeing that right now with like, just like, they're not even like in the same room, but they're reaching out to each other.
Yeah, that like twin connection. And I also think, when I got the devil out of him and I kind of was like bringing back all these memories from our childhood and stuff, like we haven't seen any of that connection that we had as kids, and obviously it wasn't on the show because our whole childhood was an off-screen moment. But I think that kind of Allie verbalizing that and like putting that connection out there of like, remember how we used to be before we grew up. Like, I think that too, she'll remember that connection that she felt right before she got possessed.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I thought, oh my God, what was that? Oh, that was the tape out. Something like fell, and I was like, oh, what is that? Oh, I got a little nervous for a second. All right, once again, mail call. You know what? Next time we really should have a sound that goes with this. It's okay.
Yeah, that would be fun.
We'll work on it. But Me World 2 wanted to know, Lindsay, what was it like working with Mike Manning again for a different storyline than last? Because, Charlie Dale was not so nice to Allie Horton, but is now the humble servant of the devil. So what was it like doing these scenes last week?
I obviously always love working with Mike. I literally, like, he's just the best. And we were having so much fun because I had to have like a mini exorcism. Did that?
Yes. Yeah.
And in the script, it said like Allie thrashes on the ground. And I was like, no, I simply will not be thrashing. You will be getting no thrashing from me. I don't even know how to thrash. Like, I'm not. And so they kind of like, it just ended up someone tweeted and was like, loving this interpretive dance from Allie.
Is that what it was supposed to be?
Okay. Yeah, I was a little confused.
It was just supposed to be like, the devil leaving Allie's physical body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, when you're going to do that, it's definitely more believable when you have different camera shots, maybe an up close of like a neck cracking or something.
Yeah.
But we just have like the 3 shots.
Yeah.
So it was really up to me. And I literally I was with Mike and I was practicing my interpretive dance for him. And he was giving me, I was like, what should I do here? I was so, and I think I was with Carson too, and I was like, guys, you need to help me make up this dance, and they were like,
No.
that was a scene that I was recently nervous for. I was like, oh God, what do I do about this? So that was just like a funny day, and so we were kind of like making jokes about that, but it was definitely nice to have this power dynamic between us because like when he had to kneel in front of me, I was like, yep, this is the visual that we need. We need Charlie on his knees in front of Allie, just looking pathetic. Yeah. So I think it was definitely nice. And me and Mike and I talked about some line changes just to keep it. I was like, even though I'm the devil, I don't want to disrespect that situation.
Yeah.
I know the devil wouldn't care about that, but just as myself. Yeah. So we kind of changed around a few words and took out some lines and stuff that we were like, oh, maybe this could come across as maybe not what we would want to like portray. But I really loved that they kind of had him as the person who came back and had that power dynamic of him just literally doing whatever the devil says, because it visually looks like it's Allie. So those visuals are nice, especially with him on his knees and just kind of having that like, I'm in charge of you now. I have the power over you now.
Yeah.
I liked it.
What did you think about the whole like exorcism scene? Because when it cut to in the graveyard, I mean, there was the whole like star thing and the candles and all, and we briefly talked about it during Dishin Days, and it was just kind of like, okay, wow, we're going there. We're going fully there. Were you worried at all about that, or did it shake you a little? Like,
just so you know, the exorcism itself has not aired.
Okay. I know. I'm like, what do we got? So it's aired of me just bringing Charlie out of the ground, right?
Bringing Charlie out of the ground, and then the baby is now sitting on the star. Like,
that's
it's like
you're
preparing to do something with the baby, but we're not.
The transference was starting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were. I was like in the circle.
Yeah.
Like with it. Okay, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I literally was like, love this star. Like, I'm not like a religious person or anything like that. So I don't really, that kind of doesn't freak me out. When we did the Ouija board stuff back for like the Halloween episodes, I did keep, we had like sage and stuff on set. So it was, and they had put stuff underneath so that we didn't touch it, because like, that's the kind of stuff I believe in. Like spirits and all of that. So that would be something that would maybe like have freaked me out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I've like, when I was a kid, I remember having like not great experiences with Ouija boards, and my parents were always like, we don't like that in the house. Yeah. So for me and Carson as well, we were kind of like, oh, we don't want to touch this. And Raven was like, y'all are dramatic. Like, but with the devil stuff didn't really, freak me out that much. I think just because I was having a lot of fun with it. So I was like, I'm not feeling creeped out. I'm not feeling like the devil is like, I think he's loving my performance. Like, I don't think he's, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm not feeling I don't really feel any sort of connection to that stuff. So for me, I just thought it was really cool set design. Honestly, I was like, y'all are, really doing this. You guys are going for it. We have the star on the ground. There's candles. So I wasn't super freaked out by it, but I remember being like, oh wow, this is like, okay, like we're doing it.
Yeah. That's how we felt too.
But I mean, I liked it. I thought it was cool. And I thought it was, I don't know if I super got it. I'm not super familiar with exorcisms, but I thought it was really cool set design. So I was into it.
Yeah.
We may jump back to more devil stuff, but we definitely want to talk about the amazing conversation that you had with Will, or Chandler Massey, regarding discovering becoming bisexual. How was that for you to receive the script and kind of see that they've kind of pivoted Allie into this direction, and then having this conversation with Will, who did come out on the show as gay, and kind of navigating, Allie and her thoughts and her feelings and everything. How was that scene for you? And were there any worries about what the audience would think, or a certain way that you wanted to make sure you portrayed it? Just kind of take us in your head for that moment in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, with that, I just wanted it to. I was really happy that they had kind of Will really explaining all of the different types of sexuality you can have. I felt like it was a very like natural conversation about kind of like the options almost that Allie could possibly resonate with or relate to.
Yeah.
And I think it was great that it was with Chandler, because me and Chandler just have a very natural, easy like chemistry. Like the two of us get along so well, and so it's honestly just really easy to talk to him in real life. So I feel like having that conversation with him was just very natural for both of us to kind of be like, okay, like maybe that's not it, so let's talk about this. And like, I didn't feel like it was over dramatized at all, which I appreciated, because I think, of course, it's coming out as gay and exploring your sexuality is still like a massive deal, and like it's not normalized everywhere. And I think living in New York and now living in Los Angeles, I'm like, sometimes I forget that it's not normalized everywhere, because I am really privileged and lucky to have grown up with an incredibly accepting family. I went to a very like liberal school. I surround myself with people who that's not even a concept that would ever be something that they would question. So I think I forget that in other places it's not as accepted. And so one of the notes from the director that day was actually like, hey, I love that you guys are just having this as a casual conversation. There's nothing weird about it. There's nothing, obviously no judgment, but just tap into that part of you that is scared, to kind of accept this about yourself. And even if it's for you, of course, it's like, it's no big deal. Remember that for somebody watching maybe, or for someone like it is something that people still really struggle with and do have trouble coming to terms with. So I think getting that note and kind of tapping into the nerves of, what if this changes how people view me? What if this changes how I view myself? What if this brings up something in me I've been pushing away? Like kind of getting naturally to that point by the end of our conversation. Getting that note really helped, because I think that it added a level of seriousness while not making it as, I don't know if dramatic's the right word, but as intense as Will's storyline was, kind of it was, I like that it kind of shows like 10 years ago when Will was coming out, it was a different conversation and there was different reactions. Allie coming out has been like just a lot chiller, which I kind of like, because it's shown the progression of like this show and society 10 years ago versus this show and society now. It's still, of course, it's still a conversation, and it's still something that a lot of people struggle with. But it is maybe it is more accepted than it was 10 years ago.
For sure. Yeah.
I liked that it was kind of a really good mix of showing how times have changed while also holding that like there's still a lot of change to go. I loved I loved the kind of the match of seriousness and playfulness that the script and Chandler and I found with it.
Now, I do feel like it was definitely more accepting, because like 10 years ago when Will was coming out, it was definitely like are they really going to have a gay character in Salem? Because Days is such a conservative soap that to have a gay character was kind of like
a gay legacy character.
But and we will always say this on the show, it was so beautiful to see how they slowly, brought him out of the closet and really had, Marlena be very accepting and see the reactions of Sammy and Lucas. And you kind of had the gamut of like how that would actually be in someone's house, like, 10 years ago. And then I thought, taking us to now, it was very important to explore that, hey, there's gay, but then there's also, someone being bi and having feelings for both a man and a woman, and how that person navigates that. Because I do think that fans really do root for Trip and Chanel for Allie, and some are just like, let them all just be together and just like figure it out. You know,
we talked about that back when that was the main storyline for you guys. When Allie was with Trip, Chanel was with Johnny, and it's like we you know, you can switch partners and everything, but it's like we're team everybody. Like we couldn't choose because you guys all were you know, beautifully, you know, acted well together and had so much chemistry that it was hard to, you know, you want to choose one or the other, but we couldn't. And we were just like, let them all date each other.
Still
you know?
can't.
Let's go that route, you know. Get even more progressive. But so did, you know, going back to the, you know, any nerves you had about that, and any backlash you received. I remember Chandler Massey saying that when his coming out storyline was airing, and he grew up in Georgia, which is very different from growing up in New York. That folks like his old neighbors were sending him Bibles and like prayer scriptures. And I'm wondering if you had any of that experience, or if it was a little more tame for your experience.
I don't even know how. I just simply don't have the patience. I do not like. I would be so. I would be canceled or something. I'd be like, I would like send like a nasty letter back, and like I'm like, I don't even know how he dealt with that, because I would just be so like, I do not have time for this. But and that's kind of, I mean, luckily for me, I in my real life do not have anybody who would ever in a million years like even say anything. So in my real life, and you know, even like neighbors who watch it and stuff, they're just happy I'm on screen. They're like, we love you, we're so happy for you, because small town, whatever. So it's very supportive. But I have gotten that online. And I've gotten like when I'll post, you know, pictures or promo pictures of me and Raven, I'll get DMs from people, but the great thing is I just block them.
Exactly. Turn them off.
Even if I don't block them, it's just like I just don't really pay attention to comments or like DMs or anything like that, unless I see something like specifically positive or someone sharing a story that I want to respond to. But I mean, we've definitely gotten some hate on Twitter, like, and Instagram and stuff, but I mean, it just doesn't faze me, because I feel like it's so, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like, really, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't.
You just don't put energy into it.
You know, you can't put energy into it.
So I mean, I'm again like very, very lucky that no one in my real life who I care about and like, you know, see on the daily, you know, is being like, have you read this scripture about this? And it's also so strange to me, because it's also like the lack of separation from character to actor sometimes. Not even with like sexuality terms, but just like, I'm not actually dating this person. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just, like people really cannot, they really can't separate. I think that's the biggest thing, that is not even hate or anything that I get, or people being ignorant, but just people really think like they think I'm the devil right now. I'm like, guys, I'm really not. I do have some people who full blown are like, hi, devil girl. I'm like, oh my god.
I was like, no, I'm just playing. I'm just
playing it. So I think that's kind of the part that's like that's more present with that kind of stuff, is they really think they'll be like, love you and Raven together. I'm like, honestly, thank you. But I feel lucky in the sense that I think this storyline again came out at a time where it is just more normalized and more accepted and talked about than Chandler's storyline, and that the block or mute button exists.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's lovely.
And I think it's also good that, like, because I feel like people who identify as bi sometimes don't feel as seen.
The erasure.
It's either, you know, it's just either you're straight or you're gay, you know, and those are the characters that are portrayed in the life, you know, that they live and everything like that. But people forget, you know, there are a group of people who identify as bi, and there are some others who identify as like pansexual, asexual, and things like that. And, you know, I think it's, you know, important to consistently show, you know, representation of the LGBTQIA community so that someone always has someone to identify with and resonate with, and so I
See
thought it was great.
themselves on the screen. Yeah.
Exactly. So I thought it was great to have Allie, have that instead of it just kind of being played off as like, oh, girls, we just kiss sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
no, like sometimes I'm wrestling with these feelings, and it was a great way to kind of let the world know.
Yeah,
that
and I think
there's
too, a lot of like it's like having to like prove your bisexuality. It's like if you've never dated a girl, are you really bi? Or if you're a guy and you've never dated a guy, are you really bi? So there's that kind of needing to prove it. And I really like that Allie explored that as well. She was like, well, I've only ever dated guys. And it's like, no, you can still like a girl even if you've never dated a girl. You can still like eventually explore that. So I think, they definitely did a great job exploring that erasure and that kind of, you don't need to prove anything, and it's something that exists. So and then I like that they have Chanel exploring the more like pansexuality almost, or like not putting a label on it type thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good to have like both of those represented in just our relationship.
Exactly. Now, the most important question. This is for you, Lindsay.
Yes.
Are you, for Allie, Team Trip or Team Chanel?
Oh, that's unfair.
Guys,
we never said we were easy.
That's mean. Even I think that's mean.
There's like, I'm like, I can't say anything because none of this has aired yet.
Yeah.
But I really just want I can't. I'm like, I don't even know if I can say anything.
Lindsay's team Lindsay, so she can keep her job.
Exactly.
Right. Yes. Yes.
No, truly. I mean, honestly, like just looking at it, I do think that it's really important. Allie's like 22, 23. I think it's really important to explore your sexuality before settling down. Like, please do not get married to a man when you think you might be gay. Like, let's not, So,
and vice versa. These men who are out here getting married to women and knowing that they tapping their foot in the bathroom.
Exactly. So I'm like, you need to explore that though. And it's, I mean, like, for me, I'm team Allie finding herself. And I think that she needs to explore her bisexuality in order to do that. Even though I think Trip is like literally an angel sent from above. But I think that I'm team Chanel in the sense that I'm team Allie exploring and finding herself. So I think that just inevitably leads me to, team Chanel, because she's gonna be more of the choice that would have Allie do that. So
Lindsay,
Trip's a little stable for her right now. I need him to go find a stable woman.
Lindsay, can I ask, when you do, now we've seen you both with Lucas and Raven, the characters, is there a different way you approach the intimate scenes with either one, or is it all the same, or is it different with
yeah, it's pretty much the same. I think me and Raven probably have had more like intense physicality than Lucas and I, but it's pretty much always the same. We just kind of get together before and talk about, kind of choreograph it ourselves. So we'll be like, okay, on this line, I think I'm gonna like grab your waist if that's cool. And like, we obviously have worked together for a while now, so we know what everyone's comfortable with. So yeah, it's just kind of the same. We just sit, talk about what we think like we should do, or like what would be cute, or like just making sure like, is there anything you're super uncomfortable with? But I think just, again, because we're all so close and we're all good friends, it really helps in the sense that it's like, it's very easy to talk about that stuff. It's like, if there's something that you're uncomfortable with, like, we can be really open and honest about like what it is and, why and whatever. But yeah, it's pretty much the same for both of them. We just sit and talk and like choreograph it ourselves a little bit. And then,
Cool. That's great.
Yeah. We have one more little piece of our favorite little graphic. Where is it? Bam! Fan mail. We that I feel like that's gonna haunt me in my dreams now. Like, I'm gonna be laying there and it's gonna be like, sure, fan mail. But we have one from Leanne Nomer 2, I believe that's how you pronounce it, from Instagram, and she asks, your favorite Allie scene you have filmed. thus far?
Mm,
There are a lot.
that's so tough. Because there's different favorite scenes for like different reasons.
Yeah. Top 3.
Okay, top 3.
Number 3.
Number 3, I would say, are my Marlena and Allie scenes that I submitted, just because that day I felt I left set feeling so like just connected to my work, and I was just left feeling like I really like just connected to the character, and I left being like I did good work today, and I feel good about what I did, and I think I did something important today. And so that was a really like fulfilling set of scenes, even though it was not my favorite, because it was genuinely like very, very hard to get through.
Yeah.
And then another set of scenes that was a favorite. I mean, I would say recently, like all the devil stuff was so fun.
So good.
But I really loved the scenes with Victoria in the Ciara and Allie in the car, because I had never shot in a car before. And me and Victoria were just having way too much fun. Like we were just being like so annoying to the point where they were like, guys, we need to get it together.
Yeah.
And it was fun for me because like Victoria had to like be in it because she had emotional scenes in those. But for me, it was just fun because I was like getting to pretend to drive. I was just being ridiculous. So those were fun. And like recently, those were kind of a favorite. I just remember it being a really fun day. And then I feel like just like any of the scenes where it was like me, Raven, Lucas, Carson were always so fun. I'm like, I feel like I can't think of any right now that would be specific ones, but pretty much any of the scenes where it's the 4 of us are always really fun because we're just like having fun in between shooting them. And I feel like our dynamic's always really good. So any of those scenes I feel like have been a favorite scene because I just love working with the 4 of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Lindsay, we've said since the first time you came on with us, like we have thoroughly enjoyed the role of Allie, and you have
Since
like
the moment
slayed
she
it.
showed up at Nicole's. Yeah.
The second that door opened at Nicole's and Allie was standing there pregnant, like you've come in and just really like have done such an amazing job. And so we're just happy that they keep giving you great stuff to work with and stuff that really shows, your talent and broadness as an actress, and super excited that you have been recognized as a daytime Emmy nominee, and we're hoping that you go up there and snatch the trophy, girl.
Yeah.
Like I'm just happy to be here.
You know what? That should be your speech when you go up there and they're like, and the winner is Lindsay Arnold, and then you walk up there and you just go, I'm just happy to be here, and then just walk away.
No, she's gotta get all the flowers. Oh, you're gonna love it.
Yes.
Gosh, yeah, I'm excited for you.
Yes, it's gonna be so good. Yeah. Well, Lindsay, as always, thank you so much for coming on and for chit-chatting with us and kikiing with us. And of course, as things progress, we'll have to have you back to find out, all the tea about what's going on with Allie in Salem.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me on. I love coming on. It's always so fun. So
we're always glad that you have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
almost said thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Allie.
I almost said thank you, Allie.
One character.
Hi, devil. Yeah.
The contacts come in as I leave. I'm like,
bye, Lindsay.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, I always enjoy having her. She is
great.
So good. Yeah. All right. And just when you thought our show was about to end, because I just realized we have one more piece of business. We have our...
Hold, please, hold.
Of course. We have our Dishin Days Awards. That's right, everybody. It is the official announcement of our Dishin Days Awards for this year. And we will let you know who the nominees are for this year and the categories. Starting with Most shocking moment. We have Jan Spears killed Charlie. Doug is possessed in The Return of the Devil. Paulina is Lonnie's mother. Vivian kidnapped Carter and Jules. Gwen's reveals, and that's not Belle, it's Jan.
Jan.
Yeah, that's wait a minute. Are we sure that's what the nominees were?
Yes.
Are you sure?
What were they supposed to be?
I don't know. Because as I'm reading them, I'm like, are we sure about that? See, this is live TV.
Oh, God.
Hold on.
We can double check offline.
Yes.
And when we post them on social, they'll be correct.
We'll post them later, guys.
Well, how about this? We're going to post those
now,
on social. But we'll let you know what the categories are. Go ahead.
So are we going through the nominees still?
Yeah.
Just let's keep going.
Okay.
For best character return, we have Johnny DeMira, we have the Devil, we have EJ DeMira, we have everyone's favorite shady doctor, Dr. Rayner, and Rise of the Dead, the return of Nick, Charlie, and Deimos on Halloween.
Oof.
Next up, we have best character exit. We have lovely Sammy Brady, Philip Kiriakis, Eric Brady, and Sarah Horton.
And for best couple this year, the nominees are Paulina and Abe, Chanel and Johnny, Sarah and Xander, Belle and Sean, and Bonnie and Justin.
And for best duo, which is our newest award, we have Allie and Chanel, Gwen and Xander, Kate and her cane because she was blind, y'all, and Abigail and Gabby.
And almost lastly, we have best new character, with nominees are Paulina Price, her daughter Chanel Dupree, Paulina's mom Olivia, everyone's favorite kidnapper Rhodes, and Callista Flockhart.
I love you guys have Flockhart there.
Gotta love a Callista Flockhart. That's so funny how they came up with that name. And then, of course, we will have our individual segments. We will have the best Kodak moment brought to you by Michael Mattis, the most gifable character from Araceli, and of course, oh, what a day from Justin. And of course, the Snaps for Life brought to you by yours truly, Tony Moore. Nominations and voting will begin soon, so make sure you check out our social medias so that you can vote for your favorite, and we will announce the winner of the Dishin Days Awards 1 week after the Emmys, which will be in July.
Emmys are June 24th, so whatever week
after,
after that is.
Yeah.
So the week after that, which
yeah, that's in July.
Yeah, it will be
the beginning of
June 26th and then July 3rd.
Oh, yeah, it'll be July 3rd. So right before Independence Day, we will send you off with the winners of our Dishin Days Award. I actually like that we started these because it's our way of just saying like, hey, even though sometimes the Daytime Emmy Awards doesn't recognize all the things Days of Our Lives,
right.
we want to,
in our opinion.
Exactly. So we want to make sure we do that. So that's what we do. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. And that's it. That's our show because we've been on here a long time. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms and buy our merch, which is at dishindays.threadless.com. But before we head out, Michael Mattis.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
Reading my email to make sure I got the nominees right.
Are you?
Maybe. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at ML Mattis.
And my favorites, Justin and Araceli.
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Just Instagram.
Yep.
And
you can find me
Araceli.
on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And of course, you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony, and you can find us on all social medias. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. Of course, that has been our show. Thank you guys for dishing with us and listening to our thoughts and about all the stunt shows and shenanigans that have happened in Salem this week. We also want to thank Lindsay Arnold for coming on and talking about all things devilish with us. We can't wait to see how the story unfolds. But until then, you guys, we will be back next week to serve up another full dish of this week's episodes of Days of Our Lives, featuring the one and only Peter Reckle returning as Bo. I can't wait to hear Araceli's thoughts next week.
I don't know why.
Live stream your reaction.
I think I might. I actually think I might. I think I might.
You should.
Yeah.
I think Tammy did that a couple times. Or she just texted it to us. I don't remember, but
we always have like live reactions towards each other. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks, guys.
Until then, stay safe and have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.